Hi, welcome to my channel, Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get crafting. For this DIY, I'm going to use a mason jar, some faux leather from burlapfabrics.com that they were so kind to send me, and I'll put all the information in my description box, some florals that I got from Dollar Tree and Target, and then I've got those pop-up stickers you can see in the background too. Right now I'm going to use my square and I'm going to cut a strip of the faux leather. I'd already cut out a piece to begin with, but now I'm just going to cut one that's just about the right width for what I'd like to see on my mason jar. And I'm going to cut that out after I've drawn the line on the back side so you'll never see it again. And I do a lot of trimming to get this just right. I don't put it all on camera because, you know, who wants to watch me trim? Now I'm going to take out these little pop-up stickers. I love these things because with my metallic silver paint from Folklore, you can actually make them look like little rivets. Now I'm going to paint them with my plaster colored chalk paint first because that'll make it easier for the silver to stick. And I don't know why I only painted 2 to begin with. I actually need 4 of these, so I do go back and paint 2 more. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I've got these 2 little boards that I got out of a little shelf from the Target dollar spot, and I used the shelf for something else, and I just kept those 2 little shelf pieces, and I decided that they would be great for this project. So what I'm going to do is put them together with some hot glue, and then it'll look like planks that way. And it was already painted white and it's already a little distressed, so I don't actually have to do anything else to that, which was really, really nice. Because hey, when you get that and you use it as extra pieces from a different DIY, it's like bonus and it's almost like free. Now I'm going to take my little mason jar and I'm going to put a boatload of hot glue on there, and I'm just going to stick it right on the planks. And it actually stays really well, but I'm going to also use my faux leather and I'm going to glue that down on either side, and then I'm going to cut off the edges so it looks like it's just kind of wrapped around it, and it's just one more little form of security. I'm going to tuck a little hot glue under little parts of the faux leather too to just kind of stick it to the jar as well, and you can see me doing that right here. And I'm already loving the way this is looking. It's very fresh, and with the white, I just really like it. I like some of the darker distressed stuff too, but sometimes it's just nice to see something a little brighter. Now I'm going to trim the edges and then tack them down with some more hot glue. Now I'm going to take those little pop-up stickers that I painted, and I'm going to put 2 on each side towards the corners of the faux leather, so it looks like little tacks or rivets holding down the faux leather. Just kind of brings that look up a little higher and makes it look a little more finished and expensive, and I love the way that looks. After trimming the faux leather, I had another piece left, and I decided to trim that even narrower and make a faux hanger. We're into faux here today. I don't think it's going to be strong enough to hold this up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it real thin. I'm going to attach it to each sides and then up and over the top, and then I'll make another little rivet on each side, and that'll be like a faux hanger. On the back, I'll actually put a little bit of jute twine for a real hanger and secure that with tons of hot glue and some masking tape across it as well. And I just think this will give it such a cute look, but at the same time, I'll have a practical way to hang it without, breaking anything. And I'm going to actually use 2 of the smaller pop-up stickers to make the little rivets or tacks for the side there for that top faux hanger. It'll just look like it's attached then by something a little bit more sturdy. And then I'm going to take the greenery that I got and I'm going to trim it down to size. And I'm actually going to position it and use some hot glue to attach it to the inside of the mason jar. That way I can get it exactly where I want it. I'm not looking to like fill the whole thing up. I actually want it to kind of lean up against those little planks. I think that's gonna look really cute. And then I'm gonna add the little, I think those are tulips. I'm not sure. They look like mini tulips. I don't know what they are. Anyway, it's so pretty. And I'm just gonna do the same thing there. And I'm also going to tack down the leaves a little bit so they lay the way I want them to look. And instead of kind of bunched together, I like it to look a little more spread out. I can just add a drop of hot glue. You won't even see it. And that way it'll just look really, really nice. Now, if you decide to make this, you could use any florals that you want that fit your decor. You could change them out for different seasons. Today's video is part of a Spring is in the Air hop, and our host is Andrea Peacock. There are many other talented crafters, and we're doing a $60 Amazon cart giveaway. The way this works is after you finish watching my video, definitely give it a like and a comment, and then go down to my description box, and right towards the top you'll find a link to the next person's video. You will watch theirs, like it, and leave a comment, and then hop to the next video. And when you get back to my video, you'll know that you have completed the hop. In order to qualify for the giveaway, you have to leave a comment on each of our videos, and there are 6 of us. I'm super excited for you, and I hope that you win. You have 1 week to complete the hop, and we will announce the winner on each of our community tabs on YouTube on the 17th of April. I hope you'll consider joining me on YouTube by hitting the red subscribe button and then turning on the notification bell so you always know when I have a new video coming up. I do all kinds of DIYs in different styles. There's something for everyone. For this spring DIY, I'm using this Welcome Spring sign from the Dollar Tree and this really cool twine I got from burlapfabrics.com. Again, the information is going to be down in my description box. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my Kills white primer. I love this stuff, and I'm going to paint the entire back with 1 coat of it. I'm not going to go crazy and cover it real heavily. I don't mind if a little bit shows through, because what I'm going to do next is use my antique wax, a combination of that by Waverly and Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel Paints, and make a faux wood grain look. The key to this is making sure your strokes all go in the direction that you want the wood grain to go in. So in my case, I'm going up and down, and I'm starting off with lighter, amounts, and then I'm adding more little by little until I get the look I want. You really can't do this wrong. You're just going for what you like. And I'm going to use an Arteza paint marker. It's in brown, and I'm going to go all around the edges because it was kind of this light looking color, and I wanted it to blend and look like the whole thing was a piece of wood. Now I'm going to take my square ruler and I'm going to create kind of like shiplap lines, and then I'm going to dig them out a little bit with a putty knife, I think is what I'm using, or a blade, just to kind of give that look. Now I'm going to actually be using that twine to outline a shape that I'm going to draw on there next. I'm going to take this little shape from the Dollar Tree that's a mason jar. Now this is smaller than I want it to be, so I'm just going to kind of use it to get the overall idea of a mason jar. I want mine to actually be bigger and wider than this one because of the piece that I'm using to put it on. It would look too small if I used that little teeny size to draw. Now I'm going to take that awesome twine from burlapfabrics.com. I love it. It's like such a good quality, and it's lighter, so it really stands out against this wood grain look. Anyway, I'm going to hot glue it right around the outline of that mason jar that I drew, and it's going to look so cool. I saw a picture of somebody who did something similar, and I kind of made it my own, but I just love the idea of it. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and let you watch how I built my mason jar out of twine. Now at this point, as I'm building like the little I don't know what they are called, but like the ridges around the top. I want it to look like my flowers are inside the mason jar, and since this isn't really like fully three-dimensional, it's kind of hard. So what I did was I put them under the twine, and that way when I lay the twine over it looks like they're inside. I mean, I just think that came out really cool. I love the flowers. I decided not to add the colorful ones. I thought it'd be nice to keep this kind of neutral even though it's spring, because that way I could put it up whenever I want and wherever I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and add those little rivety things around the top of the jar. I decided to add a little dot of hot glue at the base of each of those stems just to make sure they stayed in place. And I like my projects to look finished, so I took some craft paper and I just hot glued it to the back so that way you wouldn't see the other design on it, and it just looks a little bit more, you know, professional and polished. Not that I'm selling it, but in case I ever wanted to, or even if I give it away, I just want to make sure that it looks nice on both sides. I'm going to take a little bit more of that really nice twine that I used already. I'm going to put a little tape around the end, and then I'm going to poke holes back through that craft paper since there were already holes in the sign. And I'm going to feed it from the back to the front and make a knot. And then I'm going to put a little dab of hot glue there to hold it in place. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I love the knot in the front. I just think it's so cute and it adds such a farmhouse feel to it. And it makes the sign hang nicer because the string is more on the back. At least it's my preference anyway. And of course, I couldn't just leave well enough alone, so I had to add some more of those little white flowers. I just felt like right in the front there it was really dark towards the top of the mason jar, so I just added a few more flowers, hot glued them down, and I think that just kind of balanced it out. You'll have to let me know what you think. I really like this one. I'm super happy about it. Can't wait to hear what you guys think in the comments. Did you know that I'm on social media? You can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. Same name, Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie. Come on over and say hi. This DIY is like paper crafts, which I have never done before. So I'm using this little mason jar that you saw last time I was using to trace, and these little chalkboards and the butterflies and the scrapbook paper. So I got everything at Dollar Tree except the scrapbook paper, which I got at a thrift store in Nebraska. So of course, my favorite thing, not, is trying to get that stuff off. I did use heat. Finally, I just said, forget it. That'll be the back. And I'm going to use craft paper, hot glue, and trim, and just cover up the entire back with that. And that solved that problem. I just got the big, thick stuff off so that you wouldn't even see it. And then after I trim all the way around, I'm going to go ahead and take off the little tags because obviously we don't need those anymore. I'm going to trace the mason jar on the back side of one piece of my scrap paper, and that's what I'm going to cover the entire thing with. And I love this pattern. It's really lovely, and to me it really speaks spring without it being really flowery. You know, I gotta say, these little teeny scissors from the Dollar Tree are just perfect for this kind of cutting when you gotta do those little teeny cuts. I am not that good at cutting things out, at least I never have considered myself very good at it, but these little scissors make all the difference. It's like anything, the tools seem to help you be able to do things. Now I'm gonna take some Mod Podge. I'm at the end of my little jar, so that's why I'm just barely getting any out. And I'm gonna put a little on, spread it out, well, spread it on, and then little by little add more. That way I can place it without the whole thing being sticky and getting Mod Podge everywhere. So I just put on, you know, a little bit at a time, press it down, make sure there's nothing oozing out of the sides, and then keep going all the way down to the bottom. And I'm not going to be adding a coat over the top, so I'm not going to use, you know, any saran wrap or bray or anything. This is such a small piece, I can just smooth it out with my hands. And then once it dries, I'm going to use a little utility knife and just kind of cut around the edges. My blade is kind of dull right now on my X-Acto knife, so I have to get a new one. But this worked just fine. And now I'm going to take that little chalkboard and I'm going to use a different scrapbook paper and I'm going to cut that out. And this is really teeny tiny because boy, I couldn't have done it without those scissors, that is for sure. And I'm going to Mod Podge it right on top of the little chalkboard. I'm just going to use it for a contrasting color and a little shape that I'm going to put on that mason jar. I was kind of doing a little bit of mixed media, so I want different sizes and shapes and colors and different textures with this kind of a paper craft. And honestly, I have two friends on YouTube, Lisa Kennedy Dollar Mom and Faith Chick 777, who do this kind of paper crafting, and I am just so impressed by it. I had to try it, so I'm trying it on this one, and I've tried it on one other that you haven't seen yet that will come in a future video. So thank you to them. I'll put their links down in the description in case you're interested. Now I'm using some regular old Dollar Tree jute twine and I'm wrapping it around, and I'm going to put a couple of those around just to give it that sense of the top of the jar. And I just like that look. Again, mixing textures. I really love doing that. Oh, I forgot to mention that I hand wrote or printed the word spring, and I don't think I did a great job of it, but hey, it's done. I'm going to use that little foam that's two-sided that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and it kind of lifts things up. So I'm going to put it on the back, and that way I can set it right on the mason jar, and it goes over the twine without it being a problem. And then I've got these cute little butterflies, and I'm going to add a couple to the front as well, and that just adds more texture and color and a different design. And it just does feel really springy. It's almost like I caught them and put them in a jar, which I would never do, but anyway, it looks kind of cute. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of going with a mason jar theme today. So spring and mason jar. Now I have some of these little beads, the natural wood ones. I got them on Amazon. I'll link them below. And I'm going to add several to a little piece of the thinner twine. And I'm going to wrap that around as well and make it hang like just, a little extra design and again, more texture. And I'm just loving the whole mixed media paper craft thing. It's really fun and it makes me feel very creative. I'm sure I will get better at it as I do it more, but this was my, first try and I was pretty happy with it. Now, if you want to see the really good stuff, go watch my friends' channels because they will blow you away. As you can see, I'm just hot gluing it down, kind of wrapping it around, and just kind of finishing off the whole thing. I just thought that was just a nice little touch. It's not a tassel, but it's kind of like a little tassel. Wasn't sure what to call it. Well, I guess I just wouldn't be me if I didn't feel like I had to add one more thing. So I had room for one more butterfly, and there it goes. And let's have one last look at all three of my spring mason jar DIYs. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and it was a fun theme to do. Now don't forget to go in my description box, click the link to the hop. Well, before you do that, leave a comment, and then do that, and then go to the next video, watch their video, leave a comment, do the same thing till you come all the way back around to my video so you can be entered in the giveaway for the $60 Amazon gift card. I wish you the best of luck, and it will be so much fun to see who wins, and we will announce it on our community tabs on the 17th of April. That is going to be so exciting. There are so many talented YouTubers in this hop. I can't wait for you to see them. And to let me know you're still here at the end, leave me a flower emoji down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the time that you take to watch my videos. It means so much. I will hope to see you in my next video, and please remember that you are a blessing to me.